So this is a really risky topic, and I hope that it doesn't offend anyone because that is never my intention. But the G word, the big G word, God, and I want to talk about it from a quantum physics perspective. Now, first of all, let me say that I have nothing against organized religion except for organized religion itself. And if people are watching this and they are deeply religious, I mean absolutely no offense. But we have to keep in mind that organized religion is an entity. It's an industry, like education and medicine, and industries are based on profit, making a profit. So if you are religious and connected to a church and it's something that you love, then this conversation should only serve to take you farther into your faith, not throw shade on it, not say, oh, this is terrible. Okay, so hopefully you can have that kind of an open mind. Albert Einstein started his career in theoretical physics very skeptical. He was not atheist, but he started very skeptical. And as he ended his career, he recognized that this universe is a conscious connected field, and we're all part of it. Okay, and then he went on to talk about God. And there's many documented cases of that. Who else? Max Planck, Werner Heisenberg, Niels Bohr, Schrodinger, David Bohm. There's John Wheeler, who's one of my favorite physicists of all times. They all concluded, whatever they believed when they began their journey into quantum physics, they all concluded with, yeah, there's this giant field. We are a field. We're connected to that giant field. And this isn't some random, let's throw, do a crapshoot and see if babies come out of people. Universe with its universal laws are very, very much a part of law as gravity is. So you don't drop an apple like on Isaac Newton's head, and sometimes it'll hit and sometimes it'll just lay there floating. That's not how the law of gravity works. And the law of quantum physics is the same exact way. It's just as reliable. And what is the reliability? And so let's just talk for a moment about what happens when an egg hits, when a sperm hits an egg. When the two collide, there's light. And you, my friend, are a spark of that light. It's a life spark. There's actually a scientific name for it that I can't think of right now, but you're a spark of that light. And in quantum physics, we know that when two charged electrons collide, there's an explosion of light. Even the Big Bang Theory, which I'm not 100% invested in, but that's a collision and a big explosion of light. So what if God is light? And what if all of these physicists who talk from a scientific perspective talk about universe, the field, is a loving, responsive, participatory, omnipresent force? I want you just to wrap your head around that for a moment. It sounds like God to me. There are a lot of people, I'm not talking about people who are like, okay, I know my religion, I know my God, I'm good. That's okay. Science and spirit will eventually connect. They will collide, and there will be a giant explosion of light. I guarantee it. But right now, church and state, kind of separate. But for people who are iffy about religion, people who are like, yeah, I grew up getting my knuckles slapped by a nun. I deal with a lot of people like that. I have clients who have hangovers from whatever religion they grew up with. And it's kind of like, do you throw the baby out with the bathwater? I'm going to tell you something, and I really hope this lands if you need to hear it. I have been coaching for, a long time, more than 15 years. And even before that, I did a lot of observing. Know for certain the people who are the most successful, the most healthy, and the most happy have that light, that flow of energy. They may not call it God. They certainly don't have to call it religion, but it's a level of faith. And I am going to sit here and say, right here, right now, that I believe that level of light and faith is what's missing from all the people who are struggling with scarcity issues right now. If you have health issues, I'm not blaming you, right? But we know that 90% of all disease, accidents, wars, whatever you want to talk about, starts in our energetic field, and then the emotions contribute to it, and it manifests in the physical. So if you just popped up with a disease yesterday or last year or 5 years ago, whatever, you were just diagnosed, that started, it may not have even been in your energy field. It may have been in your mother's or your grandmother's energy field. This is what the science of epigenetics proves. So you may have been doing everything right and then one day wake up and have cancer. It may not even be your junk. It may be your grandma's or your mom's. Or, and I don't get really into this because epigenetics hasn't gone that far yet, but it could have been ancestral. You know, if you want to go really crazy, it could have been past life. You know, I don't go there. I like to stick with it. There's plenty in our quantum universe to consider. So I haven't gone that far down the rabbit hole. Point being that wherever there is not light, there can't be healing. So let's look at this in a couple of different ways to really help you. And then we're gonna round it up with some wise advice from Albert Einstein. I want you to think about a drop in the ocean. Here's this big, beautiful, amazing ocean, and you're a little drop, and you splash out at high tide. You splash out of the ocean, and there you are sitting in the sand. Are you going to wish the ocean would come to you? Are you going to be mad at the ocean for leaving you out? Are you going to curse the ocean? Or are you just going to wait till the high tide and you meet it halfway and you join the ocean? If that didn't make sense to you, let's talk about light, because we've already established you are a spark of light. Does it mean when bad things happen, disease, divorce, war, murder, does it mean that God is not there? Does it mean that the light is being blocked? Because even when the sun is shining, if you go down a dark alley with tall buildings, it may not be very light. I want you to think of that as a form of energy. So there's this force field, this energetic, intelligent, loving, participatory field that is shining light. And you get to decide if you are open to that light or if you're going to close it off. And I want to give you the example, if I can, about prayer. There are 3 ways that people pray. And I want you to tell me if any of these feel right to you. The first one is, please, please, please fix this. That's one. The second one is, if you're up there, you better fix this. The third one is, I knew you wouldn't fix this. What's wrong with you? Okay, those are the 3 kinds of ways that many people and in many religions pray. You respond to that? It's not judgment. It's not judgment that you don't get the response you want from that. You know why? Because you're not speaking in the language of light. Proper prayer, and this is just my opinion, but I mean, you can kind of look at the Bible and gather the same thing. A proper prayer is a prayer of thanks. Thank you for healing this. Thank you for giving me a solution. Thank you for helping me be strong. That's light. On a universe made of light, light responds to light. Putting out request, if you're threatening, if you're being angry, you're pushing away the light. I'm going to tell you something. Here's what I think of. We just talked about the drop in the ocean. That little drop, sure, the high tide will come. That little drop needs to take steps or wiggles in faith towards the ocean. The light works like that too. If you have a really hard thing going on in your life right now, if life is just really tough and you give thanks for the solution, you still have to move forward in faith. You know, sometimes I hear people say, well, God will just take care of it. I have faith, God will take care of it. Okay, but like the Zen saying goes, give thanks, but move your feet. People say, well, I'm scared to do this, so I'm not going to do this, and I know God will take care of me. But God, if we're looking at God as light, you've got to unblock, first of all, so the light can get through. And you just do that by opening your heart, which we'll talk about in a minute. But you've also got to take steps. See, a lot of people, a lot of us think that we'll wait for a sign from the universe. Give me a sign. But what if instead the universe is waiting for us to take the step? And that's what turns the lever on. That's what turns the switch on, when we take that step. It's like if you have a lamp and you're like, why can't I read under this? Why isn't it bright? What's going on? You got to turn it on. Same thing here. Your action towards something in faith without any evidence of it appearing in your life right now. That's what faith is. You can say certainty in science if that feels better to you, but your willingness to move forward in faith is what's going to make the difference. Because then the universe says, oh, open signal, like your radio, you're transmitting, open signal, we can beam in there, and you're taking the steps. That's like tuning the dials. Make sense? So what do I mean by unblock? It's understanding that in order to let the light in, we have to open our hearts. And what happens, and this has been like the premise of my coaching and my research and my writing, is that we get so stuck in our nervous systems and in responding and reacting and resenting and judging everything going on around us that's happening to us, instead of accepting that that it's happening through us. So the first thing is we've got to find gratitude. Did you know that Albert Einstein said thank you 100 times a day? He said thank you for the scientists, thank you for the air that we breathe, thank you for this, thank you for that, 100 times a day. Very well documented that he said thank you 100 times a day. Think about it. Now, what about when you pray for something? You're doing it as I suggested. You're praying for something that's not here yet that you really want, and then it doesn't happen. See, this is where faith comes in, because a lot of people will be like, well, I prayed and God didn't deliver, and I got the exact opposite of what I wanted. Are you sure He didn't deliver? Are you really, really sure? Is it possible that an intelligent, omnipresent creator of all things in the universe maybe knows something that you don't? Just maybe. There's an old country song, Unanswered Prayers, right? So I think, to me, and this is just my opinion, I think to me the biggest testimonies to faith, to keep going towards what you feel in your heart. Remember, this is not stupidity. I'm going to just walk into a burning building and stand there and say God's going to save me. I'm not talking stupid, right? I'm talking about this is what's in your heart, and you're going to move forward in faith, even when things outside of you do not seem to be in your favor. If you stay in your heart and you stay connected to the light, you will know if there's a time to retreat. You will know. That's part of the faith. Kind of like the light is up here saying, come on, go for what you want. And when I see you moving forward, and I know you're moving forward in faith, I'm going to give you some direction. I may stop you so I can get you to go this way, or I may reward you and throw a few more breadcrumbs this way, but that's the whole idea of faith. And we live in a society and a civilization right now where we want the proof, we want the evidence, we want the scientific research. Show me, show me, show me. Once I see all that, well, then maybe I'll take a calculated risk, maybe. But I'm going to tell you the very most important thing, and I've spent decades and decades and decades learning, healing, understanding. And I still don't know anywhere near the smartest people in the world know. Like anywhere near. There are people that are way smarter than me. I do know that we are here to live from our heart and to use our head. And when those two go together, we show faith and gratitude. There's nothing that's impossible. I mean, think about Mahatma Gandhi. Do you think that when he started out with his sandals and his little white outfit with his, he didn't know if everyone was going to follow him. He didn't know. He was little. How could he fight Britain, and free India? Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King. Think about the people that died moving forward in faith for what they were following in their heart. Hello, Jesus. So it doesn't mean, and I'm not suggesting that you need to do something that's going to get you assassinated. I'm just saying that when you move forward in faith, things may not go right. You may go broke a couple times. You may get divorced. You may lose someone that you love. But real faith, the real stuff, is not about, is there an old man in the sky with a beard? That is masculine and female. It's an energy, it's a field. But it's an omnipresent, loving, infinitely intelligent field that you are a part of. I am a part of it. We are a spark of this field. And the whole problem that people have now is that they're disconnected from that spark, from the main light. You can get back in connection with that, which is everything I teach. I don't teach this. I don't coach. I don't talk about God with my clients. I mean, unless they want to. But it's the disconnection from the field that is the problem. Not a funnel, your sales strategy. It's not your mother-in-law. It's your disconnection from the field. And once you can get reconnected with the field of light, and you can move forward, staying connected to that field, your life changes so quickly and so beautifully and so elegantly in ways that you cannot even imagine now. Your job is not the how. Your job is the vision. And the vision needs to come from your heart, not just your head. But if you have a vision for your life that you want, and you can feel gratitude about having it before it's even here, move forward in faith toward it, the sidewalk unfolds in front of you. And it all starts with your emotions and emotional management. And that's what I'm a queen at. So click on the link below if you'd like to have a scan, if you'd like to have a session, if you're in sales and you'd like to talk about magnetic marketing, all sorts of opportunities and options, even working with me one-on-one. I would love to meet you, and I would love to help you on your journey. I hope you have a beautiful day, and thank you for watching.